It's time for another episode of Tucson Means Business, featuring Tucson's top entrepreneurs and leaders in the business world. And now your host, Mark Bishop.
Welcome to another Tucson Means Business, where we feature wonderful businesses here in Tucson, the city of businesses. Small businesses are what we're all about at the Business RadioX studio, and we're situated right here in the corporate studios, actually, or the corporate offices of Stewart Title and Trust here in Tucson. And today I have a special guest from Stewart Title, but before that, we have a gentleman by the name of Mr. Ken Alexander. And Ken is the owner and, chief cook and bottle washer, the whole man that's very successful with Ken's Hardwood Barbecue. And we're going to be looking at why this has become so successful in Tucson. I mean, there's tons of eateries, but why has this become so successful? So we're going to be talking to him about that, and maybe he can learn some tricks. Welcome, Ken.
Well, thank you very much, Mark.
It's nice to have you.
Pleasure to be here.
Hey, it's great. We're going to have some fun. And, of course, the fellow that I've been, lucky enough to know for the last few years and has been on my radio show as well, and a couple of times on Tucson Business RadioX, and it's beaut to have him back again, Bob Dytko.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, but, well, that's a lie. I'm down with a little bit of a bronchitis at the moment, but I'm feeling a lot better. I had a bad night last night, but it'll come good, It could be worse.
I'm glad you're here today.
Yeah, so am I. Looking forward to it. And Bob is the Vice President of Social Media, Marketing, and Education Liaison right here at Stewart Title. Welcome on board. Now, Ken, let's ask you this question.
Sure thing.
You're the founder of it's an award-winning restaurant, by the way.
Yeah.
I cannot miss that. Award-winning restaurant, and it's called Ken's Hardwood Barbecue in Tucson. Is the hardwood anything to do with the wood, or what's the deal there?
Yeah, it has to do with the wood. We use hickory and pecan, both hardwoods. They are kind of I would say, not such a harsh wood. It's a lighter wood, and they pack a lot of flavor. And so we don't want to overpower the meat with a harsh wood flavor, such as mesquite or anything like that. So we use pecan and hickory.
Interesting. And obviously, it burns for a long time, right?
Yeah, it burns for a while. And, our motto is low and slow. So, that's how we cook our meat, low and slow.
Low and slow.
Sir.
Speaking on food, I must mention, too, of course, we're fortunate enough to have the show proudly brought to us by the 49ers Golf and Country Club and their hidden jewel in the desert, which is the Rincon Grill. All right? And you can get nice barbecue stuff there, too. But this is special, what we're talking to Ken about today. He's featuring barbecue, and he's made it his livelihood, and I guess you don't win awards for nothing. Now, you were reared by a single mom, is that right?
Yeah, my mom.
In a community where family and food were at the center of daily life, and you came to love old-fashioned Southern cooking and the magical way it brings people together. Can you explain that a little to me?
Well, I've been my mom, like you said, she was a single mom, 7 kids. And my mom worked at night so she could be home during the day. But I've been in my mom's kitchen since I was about 9 years old. We helped out a bit. I helped out a little more than my brothers and sisters. My family, my mom, my mom's uncle, my grandfather's brother had a restaurant down in Dixon, Tennessee. And so our restaurant here in Tucson, we like to say that it is where we bring Southern down-home cooking and barbecue together. That's where they meet, right there at Ken's Hardwood Barbecue, 5250 East 22nd Street. So
you were just a little tyke, right?
Yeah, I was just a little tyke. I was a little guy. I mean, I don't think I was ever a little tyke.
You quite have told that.
Right, yeah. But, so it was great. Like I said, we had a really close family. My mom, we always had people by the house. Our house was one of those places where the kids around the neighborhood, I grew up in a neighborhood where there was a bunch of kids, bunch of families around, and they like to gather at our house. And
there's always one, isn't there?
Yeah.
Usually it's the best cook in the place in the street. Gets them all to come in, right?
Yeah. So we had our friends were at the house all the time, and there was food always around the house. And my mom, it was fellowship. You know, it was
Sure.
all about fellowship. It was all about coming together, and we always had food around. And,
well, that's a nice thing. You know, they say good business is break bread together, lots of good meetings, have food, fellowship together. It's a great idea. You're pretty proud of the fact that you learned the values of focus, hard work, and discipline. Was it being a football athlete and then a coach, or the fact that you were a U.S. Marine that gave you this grounding? And by the way, thanks for your service.
Thank you very much. It's Veterans Day. Also, my son-in-law that works at the restaurant, he's also a Marine. So, you know, we're very proud. I have 6 brothers. 4 of my brothers went into the Army right after high school. I went in the Marine Corps. And yes, it did. That kind of instilled the discipline that I think I needed when I, coming out of high school. And that was sort of like the start. And from there, I got out, went to college, played college football for 4 years, coached it 4 years. So it just brought a lot of teamwork, discipline.
Understood.
And,
what did you like better, playing or coaching?
Well, of course, I like playing, but coaching was fantastic. And coaching, it's like a service. You know, it's providing services, helping kids.
Okay,
and so that's what I really enjoy, and I think that carries over into the restaurant also. Is service to people and offering. It's one thing we try to do is offer an environment where people can come in and enjoy, and it's a joyful experience, and hopefully it's just a celebration for your palate when you come in there too.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to, because as yet I don't have the chance to get down there, but I've heard a lot of fabulous reports.
Thanks.
And this fellow, born and raised in Tucson, well, I mean, whenever he tried to leave, the truck broke down apparently. But after time, you get to know everyone, and they all become part of who you are. So Bob Dytko, when I asked him, do you think you'd ever leave Tucson? He says no. But you put yourself through college, Bob. You rodeoed in your younger years. That must have been tough.
It was. I was a lot taller back then. I'm a little shorter now. Did a lot of the bull riding. Tried to play with the horses. The horses and I did not get along. The bulls and I, we talked. We figured it out.
Yeah.
So I did that for quite a bit.
So that's where you got all your bull from then, is it?
Yes,
Very
it is.
good.
That's why I wear boots to work.
And cowboy hats as well. You're well known around through Tucson. You've been here many years. You know what's going on. I used to say you were my eye in the sky because you know what's happening in Tucson basically nearly first before anybody else does. When we talk about new businesses coming to town, big corporations coming to town or in town, sneaking around, looking at land maybe where they can build some factories and what have you, right? You still
Quite
do that?
a bit. I still do that, yes.
Okay, because I know you're pretty busy with Stuart Title. What's new and exciting?
Well, let's see. Cheesecake Factory that turned around was here. Been looking around for a while. They decided not to open up another Cheesecake Factory, but buy Fox restaurants all around the United States. Mm-hmm. And now they're starting to put their little spin on everything that they're doing. So you'll see some of the restaurants got Culinary Dropout, for a good example. Mm-hmm. They're changing around a little bit, but they're going to try and keep that same kind of a feel that they have. As for other places that are coming in right now, we're noticing a lot with the roads. The roads are changing. We've had over the last, since 2006, we've done over 845 different projects. We're in the middle of 13 of them right now that are done, 35 more that are still going, and we are probably going to be doing that until 2026.
Yeah, chime in any time you want to, Ken.
Okay.
You want to have a chat.
There, so.
I mean, the roads need to be done. Let's face
Yeah,
it.
they certainly do.
I had another flat the other day, Bob. You wouldn't believe it. I just put a new tire on. Fair dinkum. I can't go anywhere.
Yesterday, I went and spent $1,000 on new truck tires yesterday.
Stone the crows, I tell
That's
you what.
funny. I just bought 3 new tires for our food truck yesterday.
Wow.
Same reason. Tough roads in Tucson.
Are they ever, I tell you what. Well, he put himself through college, so my credit to you indeed, Bob Dytko. Past president of BIC. What is that?
It's a BIC information club. So it's a business information club that we get together every 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And go over in the mornings. It's a Tuesday morning club.
And you're a past board member of the March of Dimes?
I was on the board of March of Dimes over here in town. When
Yeah.
they left, we all decided to leave the board and leave it up to Phoenix to do what they wanted, go from there.
And go from there. When did you get the time to write 2 books?
Oh, let's see. I don't sleep at night. So I'm usually up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I work it in at least 10, 15 minutes a day. I'll sit down and write. It turns out to be an hour to 2 hours before you're done. But while you're doing that, it opens up your mind in the morning. It gets you ready, it gets you relaxed. You drink your coffee.
Right.
you start creatively flowing, and from there you just spend the rest of the day thinking about what you want to do at night.
It's a great thing to do, mate. I mean, if more people wrote, they'd be able to express themselves better, don't you think?
If I can only spell.
Well, how's your beautiful daughter doing? You're raising
doing
her?
Great. 19 going on 25. She's got her vet assistant. She did it through the JTIP program here in town. Now she's over at Pima College.
Good on her.
Doing the vet tech.
Well done. And your doggy's named Batman. I often wonder, do you have a pussy yet named Robin?
Everybody's asked me, you need to get another dog. He needs a friend. No, he's a leader, and he will torment the rest of the neighborhood along with the other dog and teach him how to do it.
Dear. Alrighty. So, barbecues for you. I hear you put on a hell of a home barbecue when you do one.
I try. I will go and learn from you, Ken, and we'll see what you've got. And I'll sit around and mark as my own recipe and go home and cook.
Well, you love cooking. You love cooking. I know that about you.
I love cooking. Julie and I will do a lot more cooking on the barbecue in the summertime. And in the wintertime,
right.
We start doing everything inside the house. We make a lot of different kinds of soups.
Okay.
So, but now listening to Ken here talking before we started, I'm really starting to think about getting a smoker and doing the same thing at home more.
Yeah. Well, he's got this secret, and I think it doesn't matter how hard we try, we are not going to be able to match what's going on at Hardwoods, but you never know.
I know.
Ken, you're now what we regard as a successful entrepreneur. Did your career as a business development executive traveling internationally and enjoying and experiencing new cultures through their food, do you think that set you on the path that you're now on with this business?
Yeah, I really enjoy food, and I always have. And I used to work out at Raytheon, and I was a business development in business development, global international business development. Mm-hmm. And from there, I've been to 43 different countries. And
through your job at Raytheon?
Through my job at Raytheon, mostly through my job at Raytheon, some vacation travel. But I just so much enjoyed trying the local cuisines when I would travel.
When you travel, yeah.
I've been all over Asia. I've also been to Australia.
Oh, you've been down under? Very good.
I've been down under, been to Africa, Europe. So I've been to a lot of different countries, a lot of different cities, and I always make it a point to try the local cuisine.
Right.
And even traveling around the United States, same thing. Mm-hmm. And it just... like I said before, I really love food, and I like to...
I think you've got to.
Yeah, you do.
I think if you're just one of these people that just says, look, a meal's a meal, food's food, I'd sooner go on and look at sites or something. You wouldn't enjoy it as much.
Right. I mean, even now, when I travel around the U.S., I always go and try out a local barbecue fair, go to. And here at town, we support local businesses, and we're big on local businesses, all types. But
you're inspired by projects which allow you to work with family and to empower, shall we say, and uplift your community. I mean, there seems to be a strong strain with you. Are you a religious man?
Yeah, well, I am a religious person.
Mm-hmm.
I say faith-based and. Always have. My mom
That's good.
brought us up in the church. So
yeah, I would imagine so. Well, your Hardwood Barbecue is an award-winning family-owned restaurant, and it's known for a unique and delicious fusion of, which I haven't had yet, southern down-home cooking and fresh smoked meats. So what's your secret?
Yeah, so my secret is 4 generations of family recipes, and we've gleaned those recipes, the best ones from my grandfather's generation, my mom, even my generation and my son. So we have Aunt Sister Girls, sweet potato pie. We have Aunt Roxy's peach cobbler, my mother's green beans. So we've just taken all these recipes out of Tennessee and Kentucky and some Oklahoma, and we brought the best recipes together. That's why, and so these are all secret recipes, family recipes, and
Bit
what
of
we serve
Kentucky
at the
Fried going on here, Bob, eh?
Well, I'm thinking, why is he not 400 pounds? I mean,
high metabolism.
High metabolism.
Yeah.
So entree, sides, desserts, original rubs and sauces.
Right.
Combined with the secret low and slow approach of their 3 accomplished pitmasters.
Right.
A pitmaster is whom?
The pitmasters are myself, my son-in-law Sean, and my son KG, but he's also Ken. And so we smoke all the meats, we season all the meats, brine, and so they have they spent a lot of time with me. I've been smoking meats for 40 years. And so they've come along and they've graduated from the Ken School of Pit Mastery.
All right. I've always wanted to know this. Now, I don't wish to show totally my ignoramus of this wonderful thing that you do called smoking meats. But is it as simple as just having a wood shed out the back where you put beautiful mesquite wood or special wood, hickory wood, and you just put the meats inside it and burn it and let it smoke and close the door? I mean, is that it?
No, that's not it.
No, I didn't think it was.
It takes a little more than that. A lot of it is, flavor, whatever flavor profile, seasonings, and then also the preparation, the prep. Whether you brine the meat or not, and with us, it's a lot of our rubs and the seasonings that we use for our meat, and then, like I said, the wood. For us, the wood's important. We just tried some peach the other day, and we tasted. Tastes pretty good. So we open up our test kitchen. We have a test kitchen, and we all gather around and we try the new recipe.
Interesting.
Meat, but
just the family turns up for that.
Just the family.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the family.
So that if you all drop dead, it doesn't matter. No one's been affected. What happens if you run out of wood, of the particular wood that you want?
Well, we're not going to run out of wood because the main wood that we use is pecan, and so we just run down to the pecan grove down in Sahuarita, and we gather in our own wood.
Fabulous.
Yeah, so it's no problem. Like, again, local. We use local wood, local companies.
Well, it sure sounds to me, Bob, like a delectable and joyful dining experience. I mean, what's the most enjoyable feedback that you get from your patrons, Ken, when you think about it?
Well, when I think about it, it's, we get a lot of reviews. Some come in over our point-of-sale system, and what we hear is that they really enjoy the food. They really enjoy the atmosphere and the friendly staff.
That's
and things
good.
Like that.
That's important too, isn't it?
That's really important. I mean, when I look up and see a group at a table and they finish eating and their plates are clean, but then they sit around for another 30 minutes and they're just enjoying themselves. We have some old-timey jazz playing on it's kind of happy music playing in the restaurant, and you see them just enjoying themselves, still fellowship and laughing and whatever. That is sort of the warmest feeling that you have.
That's your reward, isn't it?
That's your reward, that people came in and they seem to be happier when they leave the restaurant.
Well, for a second, I thought you were going to tell me that they sit back, relax, they've enjoyed themselves, the plates are clean, but you go and pick them up and get rid of them. You don't leave them there, right?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of joints do, and I hate that. Do you hate that, Bob?
I do.
They don't walk around. The waitresses put their eyes to the floor. They don't look around them and see, well, they're done. I should clean that table for them, What about you, mate, when you go out? What do you look for in a good barbecue when you go out?
You try a little of everything wherever you go. So I'm always looking for something different. You're talking about Southern Hometown Cooking. Now I'm hungry, which is... What time do you open up in the daytime?
We open at 11 a.m.
Okay, and what time do you close at night?
We close at 8. We're open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And Sundays we are open from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay, so lunch and basically dinner, 6 days a week?
Lunch and dinner 6 days a week. And, we talk about the Southern food. I mean, and that's, we have the mac and cheese. We even have collard greens. We have green beans. And so we serve a lot of different, and the desserts, pecan pie, sweet potato pie, peach cobbler. Again, they're just all the family recipes.
Okay, so what are your crossroads?
Our crossroads are Craycroft and 22nd Street.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
So what I look for is location. I look for where I can get it in and out. Can we take reservations? If I'm bringing some people that I'm working with and we're going to meet somewhere, I've got a lot of clients that work on the other side over there. To meet them in the middle, would you guys take a reservation for that?
Yeah, we take reservations. We'll reserve tables for people. We have folks calling in. They have big groups, and they call in all the time.
Right.
And we'll reserve a table for them. We also cater. We have a food truck. We participate this weekend. We're going to participate in.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I'm getting to your truck, too. That's another thing. So we want to know this. Can we park? Easy to park if we take people and guests. Not an issue. And the service is pretty quick, yes?
It is easy to park. We have our own parking lot.
Oh, nice.
How about that? All right. Now, Bob, in your spare time, other than visiting rodeos we call them in Australia, so I've been learning to say rodeos, you love to camp too, don't you?
I do. When I get a chance to go out, I'll take the toy hauler out and I'll take a bunch of friends and we'll go camp for the weekend.
Country concerts? You love country?
Definitely.
Barbecuing, building furniture, and riding. How's your furniture building getting on these days?
It's funny is I just turned around and got a whole bunch of spools. And the wired spools that you will see over at TEP, the ones that are sound 6 foot, 7 foot tall, they asked me, do you want them? Sure. So I'll go get it from them, $5-6, and then what are you going to do with them? I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I built a table out of one and put a wine drawer in.
Very good.
That's nice.
You need a big block of land to put all this stuff.
I do.
Till you get to it.
How do you find time for all that?
Oh, it's you basically, if you sit down and you do nothing, you end up in that habit. So for me, just to stay where I'm at with my weight and keep dropping weight, because I like food like where you're at, I've got to keep moving on. But the last thing it is, I got a huge spool and only one side was good. So I took the spool and I put it up against the wall. I was trying to figure what I was going to do. I figured I'll just get around to it. And that's what I turned around. I made it. I got a big T, big U, and a big I and a big T. Burnt around there and put the TUIT in the middle. So when I get around to it, and I stuck that to the side of my house. So people walking down the road go like, I don't get it. And then
I still think he's a frustrated comedian, Ken. I'm sure of it, this guy. Stand-ups, maybe, you know. Yeah. Listen, your role here at Stewart Title is diverse. I mean, to say the least. Yeah. All right.
Many hats.
You know, you love doing your business.
Right.
What is the biggest goal? What's your push? What are you trying to get out of it?
We love to bring people in here to be successful with what they do. So I like working with the newer people. I like to work with the people who are just starting commercial, the people who are just getting into lending, the people who just get into real estate itself, so that we've got a new case of people coming in.
So Southern Arizona growth.
Southern Arizona growth.
Okay.
So the average real estate commercial person is probably in his middle 60s. And sooner or later, they're going to be retiring. So we're looking for some of the new generation to come in and learn what's going on from the good old boys and take off from there and keep running with what we're doing. So I play a lot more in the commercial division than anything else. I like to bring in some of the newer people, some of the people between the ages of 25 to 35. We've got great ideas, great concepts. And you should see the way it changes the lights of the older generation. They're like, I didn't think about that. Well, let's work together. And
right.
So we've got teams working on, so somebody can leave their legacy to somebody else that they can trust and be confident to retire down the line.
So you're in motivational marketing, creative marketing, apps and social networking for realtors, realtors, and lenders, all on YouTube.
All on YouTube. I teach a lot of YouTube. I teach what's called Java Time. Java Time is we'll take a room if anybody wants to come in from Tucson. So if you want to come and talk about your restaurant, Java Time. And we put what's going on in our industry, what's going on in the community, and I'll start bringing it up. Somebody says, I want to open up a restaurant. Well, I want you to meet Ken. Ken, what did you have to go through your restaurant to open it up? Now you realize that a commercial real estate agent's in the back going, here's what we had to do. And Ken, all of a sudden, I want to buy my building. There's a commercial lender in there. And if I want to refinance it, how do we do that? And how long will it take? And before you know it, I've got 30 people in the room that just learned something. They come back.
Right.
And the next week, we've got 60 people, and I got to get a bigger room. We started with 4 when we did Java Time.
Right.
I built a coffee bar right over here, sitting in the corner. I built that little coffee bar there. It sits there now because Java Time's gotten so big, we had to move it over. So it's always trying to creative idea for a class, for people to get together so we can social network 1-2 hours in a week's time and walk away.
You touched on age group and business, commercial is restaurants and so on. Yeah. Ken, dovetailing into that, would you ever, have more restaurants than one, or is that enough? Do you think you could produce and deliver the same quality?
Yes, I do think I could produce and deliver the same quality. Right now, like I said before, it's sort of almost like having two restaurants, having the food truck.
Having the food truck,
but,
right.
We're open to expanding. There's still a lot we can do in the space where we are.
Right.
And so even if we expand it, we would keep that space. But we're not at that point yet.
Okay.
But
because
we
Tucson
have been
is so
tossing
spread
around
out,
the
isn't it?
idea.
It's so spread out. Everybody says, "Oh, gee, I wish you had one of these on the west side of town. I wish you had one on the east side of town." You know.
Right. And you look over on the north side and how Tucson is expanding, going that way. So there seems to be a lot of business that way.
It has a lot to do with the demographics of the area.
Right.
You can have the perfect building, but then have only 10,000 people within a 5-mile radius. It's not going to keep you open.
Right.
You can be northwest in the smallest building with 18,500 people around you. And if you're in the right corner on their way home, you could be the most successful business ever.
So is it growing out northwest, Bob?
It's growing out northwest. We're seeing a lot more growing out southeast. If you're looking at new home builds, southeast is beating Marana right now. But still, the fastest growing subdivision is Dove Mountain and Marana. So it just depends a little of both sides of what's going on. We have 2,300 homes in the market. The average of the homes in the market in Pima County is 5,900. So we got 2.7 months of growth of homes in stock that we have to sell, but it's still not enough.
Right.
So different things we're looking at, what we do when we teach creative wise is, why do we have 2,300 homes on the market and 1,509 parcels of land that are sitting there vacant? What can we do with those? So we're starting to teach the idea of, let's go talk to our manufactured home people. Let's talk to our small home builder and see if we can put packages together. And so maybe we'll put somebody in a home for under $200,000. We're also talking about reverse mortgages. There's a lot of people sitting on homes that are 65 and older that are there because it's paid for. They only live off a couple hundred extra a month in their pocket. But if they sold that home of 4 bedrooms to a family, took that money they made, let's say it was $300,000, put $100,000 down on a townhome that's only $150,000, you would never have to pay another mortgage fee again, and you could put that other $200,000 in your pocket, divide that by, how many years you think you have left, and have $800 to $1,200 in your pocket monthly to spend.
Well, at 50 a year, it's only 4 years, so you'd really have to pass it out.
You're looking at $1,200 at 24 years,
that sort of thing.
$200,000. So,
Ken, you're how long have you been open now?
Well, we've been open about 2.5 years at
2.5 years,
Street,
and you won the award. What was that for?
That was for it's the Arizona Daily Star Reader's Choice Award.
Okay.
And we were voted favorite barbecue restaurant.
congratulations.
Do you display that inside?
Yeah,
the
we do
restaurant?
display it. We display it on the truck, on our website.
Okay.
Facebook. We,
You wherever you can.
Yeah, I wear it on my hat. I wear it wherever I can. I'm always.
So that sticker on your forehead is
That's
what we're
it.
talking
That's
about.
it. It lights up at night.
Ah, very good. Now, you initially did start out with a food truck.
Yeah, we did
All right.
start out with a food truck. Yes,
What
we did.
inspired you then to open a restaurant?
Well,
Other than what we've talked about from mom days and community.
right. When I retired from Raytheon, I kicked around and played golf for a few months.
Okay.
But then I just wanted to start a family business, with my son. And it started with my son and nephew. We started with the food truck. And it was very successful. It was successful. We just did about all we could do with the food truck. And one day we were driving down the street and there was an opportunity we saw a vacant restaurant, and it just happened to be a restaurant that had been that was started in the late 50s by it was Jack's Barbecue back in the day.
I know the family.
Right. Yeah.
I was going to say, I knew Bob would know him, surely.
Jack and Laura Banks.
Right.
They had the restaurant. Jack was a retired Air Force. He retired from the Air Force, and he had a business. And so, that spot is hallowed ground for barbecue. And we had an opportunity to go in there, and I was like, man, this is a blessing. And everything just went so smoothly. And so we went from food truck to restaurant. And you just mentioned the Banks family. Jack passed in the mid-'90s, but his his wife, who was part of the business, Laura Banks, just came to Tucson just recently, and she came in to visit me. She's 96 years old.
Isn't that nice?
She was in town for an award,
Yeah.
and she came in and, kind of like passed the torch, and she was happy, and she,
That's good.
thanked us for being there in the business, and she had heard about how well we were doing, and so I was grinning from ear to
bet you.
ear. I was so happy to see her, and I didn't think I was ever going to get to meet her. And she just walked into the restaurant one Sunday, and it was a real surreal moment. And I really enjoyed the time that we
That's
spent
good.
together.
Well, other than delicious and amazing, how would you describe Ken's hardwood barbecue today?
Well, like I said, it's where Southern down-home cooking and fantastic smoked meats come together, and that's that just kind of separates us from other barbecue joints, not only in Tucson but in other places. And it's a family restaurant, and there is a lot of love, and we put a lot of love and into the food, and it's we're just happy to be of service.
5 years ago, you would not be able to open up a mom and pop stand family size restaurant. It just didn't happen in Tucson. You couldn't get the lending on it. You couldn't get people to move on it, and it was considered a risk. Today, we're having so many different ones opening up. It's nice to have that kind of family orientation where we're bringing it back.
Well, the city
And
of
the lenders are
gastronomy
seeing
and all
it.
this jazz going on. I mean, we're everything, right?
Yes,
But
exactly.
we do have, without being negative, this, Bob, they come and go. And they have
Right.
come and gone over the years.
If you don't have the marketing,
You know.
if you don't turn around and have the service, if you don't keep up with the quality, if you try and cut back on certain things, you're going to lose.
You're going to, and in the summer too.
And in the summertime,
Which is
you
worse.
got to know it's coming up. It's going to be a little slower. You put out a little more, you cut back a little less, and you just keep everybody happy. So
Well, you know that more and more people are eyeing us off, right? The projections are enormous. I mean, I think you've got the stats in your head just about for Tucson.
Tucson, we're seeing 2.3% growth right now here yearly. Sierra Vista, I just found out yesterday, is doing a 3.5% growth. But we're
What's the pull
noticing
down there, do you think,
The pull down there,
for 3.5?
retirement.
Right.
We're seeing a
It
lot
is
more
retirement,
But you also
right.
got Fort Huachuca is growing a little more. They're offering more jobs, just like we did out here at Raytheon that said 2,000 jobs last year, 1,000 jobs this year.
Mm-hmm.
The Fort Huachuca is bringing in another 1,500 jobs down there, so we're seeing it grow.
Well, so much for the rumor then I'd heard last year where they may be closing.
What's
Fort.
Huachuca? Fort Huachuca is always on the chopping block.
Is it
First
really?
time, yeah. Every year there's 4 or 5 different places in the Southwest. It's on the chopping block, and every year we survive from there. So if you look at it, Fort Huachuca is teaching communication to a lot of different countries in the world. So it's kind of hard to replace.
Yeah, it'd
them
be very
now.
hard, wouldn't it?
Even
It's
though
like
they
the
want
A10s.
to and they think it has to be, it usually slides off the chopping block. For the longest time, Davis Month was on a chopping block until we decided to turn it into a small power center
Yeah, look at it now.
and solar. So
Your agents learn an awful lot from you, and there's thousands of them in our area. How important is follow-up for them? What do you teach them in that?
with follow-up, if you're not following up, you're not doing it right. Follow-up is not always asking for the business and saying, it's just calling up and saying, I'm thinking of you. We teach a lot of appreciation. So every day we reach out to 3 people and we thank them. Every day we turn around and appreciate them. And every day we reach out to 3 people to help them. And then every day we reach out to 3 people to smile, no matter if it's on social networking or if it's in writing or even just walking up and giving them a call. It works. And if you can do that in real estate, on either side that you're on, no matter if you're on the lending side or the realtor side, it does help out. People will be appreciated no more. So if somebody turns around and walks up and goes, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you did. Love your business. Thank you so much for making this easy for me to pick up and take home my meal tonight. They're going to remember you next time you walk in the door.
How do you get motivated every day to go to the market doing what you do?
I love what I do. I get up in the morning, I get myself into a routine. I start doing some research. I start making a couple phone calls here and there. You don't believe how many doors are opened up by just asking a question. Well, come see me, Bob. Okay, let's do that. And then you're downtown. And then as long as I can stop, them from putting restrictions on me walking to the county building or city building anymore. I guess I'm okay. But then it's a lot of the boring meetings they call boring. They're at the end of the month. I'll go down and listen to San Rio Nuevo meetings on that Tuesday, last Tuesday of the month. You learn a lot what's going on there. You also get to meet a lot of different people. And you thank them, you grab their card, you say hi, you take them out to Ken's Barbecue, whatever you possibly can to get to know them, and then send them an appreciation. They come back and say, you need to talk to Bob. This is what he's got going on. And next thing you know, I've got him talking at a meeting.
It sounds easy, doesn't it, Ken?
Yeah, it does. But it's all about relationships
It's routine.
and building
It's
relationships.
Yes.
My word, it is. You're listening to Tucson Means Business, proudly brought to us by the 49ers Golf and Country Club, featuring the Jewel of the Desert, the Rincon Grill, and we'll be right back. I hope you're enjoying Tucson Means Business, proudly sponsored by the 49ers Golf and Country Club, right here in Tucson. And, of course, within the club is the infamous hidden jewel of the desert. And I'm referring to the Rincon Grill. And the lady that makes that tick is Mackenzie Taylor. Hi there.
Hi.
You are a chef extraordinaire, so everybody's raving about you. And when you say a new menu comes out every now and again, what constitutes a new menu? How do you derive at that? Do you do surveys? Do you ask people? I mean, how do you know what to do?
Absolutely. We really want to keep our guests in mind. So the Rincon Mountain Grill has a lot of diverse business, right? We have the golf guys coming in and they want to be able to grab some delicious food. And we also have people who are really craving a local hotspot for dinner. So we want to really cater to all of our members and our guests. We are open to the public. So we really want people in the community to be able to just come in for dinner and lunch and join us. Everything that we do with the menu, we take everyone's opinions and thoughts into account. So, for example, our blackened mango shrimp was on our happy hour menu for a month and a half, and we got a lot of great feedback on that item.
Blackened, what's it called?
Blackened shrimp and mango lettuce cups.
Okay.
They're really fantastic. It's a house-made blackening season, and we use that on the shrimp. We saute that up, and then put that into a crisp romaine lettuce cup with a homemade mango salsa.
Okay.
And some fresh sliced avocado, and it is fantastic.
So it's the feedback
Yes.
that says, you know what, this one stays,
Yes.
this one goes. So what else have you concocted lately?
Well, the lettuce cups have really taken off because a lot of the feedback we're getting is that people want to eat things that are healthier and lighter. And for example, our club sandwich, obviously it's a big hit. But we want to offer that to people who are being on the keto diet or who are gluten-free or taking their health more seriously.
Right.
So we have transformed our Rincon Club into our Rincon Club wrap. And that's lettuce boats that are filled with our ham and our turkey, our garlic aioli, some tomato. So it's a beautiful take on something that we already have on the menu, but it just makes it more accessible for people who are trying to kind of watch what they're eating.
And that's very
awesome.
good. That's very thoughtful of you. And you are caring of the fact about gluten-free and so on.
Absolutely. Gluten-free, we take extremely seriously. We have a beautiful gluten-free cauliflower crust pizza that's fantastic, and we get a lot of great feedback on. So that's definitely not coming off the menu because of the feedback that we get from that.
Although I guess the question would always be there. I mean, yucky, what's it taste like? I mean, really? Is it still a good crust? I mean,
It tastes delicious. It's actually a mozzarella and cauliflower blend. So when you bite into that crust, it's nice and crispy. It holds up, and it has like a cheesy, beautiful taste to it that really complements any of our pizzas. So I actually eat that regularly, and I'm not even gluten intolerant. So
very
Yeah.
nice. Now, what about appetizers now?
appetizers, we have a beautiful new pesto garlic bread that we do out of our pizza kitchen, and that's on our new dinner menu. We've actually, one of our big new menu items is we've transferred all of our cherry tomatoes into heirloom tomatoes, which is really exciting to note because heirloom tomatoes have so much more flavor and they're so much more colorful. So they really add a lot to our dish. So whether it's our side salad or our Cobb salad, you're getting heirloom tomatoes.
Okay, and an heirloom tomato, is it shaped the same? Is it?
Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. So they're just older tomatoes, right? That seed has been around longer. And so they have so much more flavor than the ones that are being
henceforth the heirloom.
Yes,
Okay.
modified today. So they're just really, really super tasty and juicy, and yellows and greens and reds and oranges. It's beautiful.
Lovely. And we're going to talk about perhaps a little bit later about the wine dinners, which are very special at the club, at the Rincon Mountain Grill. But just about anybody that comes in there, if you'd like to meet Mackenzie, all you've got to do is say, hey, is Macca about? I'd like to meet her. And she'd gladly come out and say hello, yes?
Absolutely, absolutely. I really love to come to the dining room and see all of our guests and really get some feedback from what they like. And that just continues to help our new menus build, too. So absolutely, please do not hesitate. I would love to meet you.
Let's get back to Tucson Means Business. You know, Tucson is growing. More and more businesses are eyeing us off. And you wonder where we're going to go. Are we getting the workers now, Bob? Have things changed that way, do you think?
We're seeing a lot more workers coming in. We're also seeing a lot more businesses that are being built here. For an example, Don Born Company is taking a lot of the acreage over at I-10 and Keno, turning into a power center. So we'll have University of Arizona, who's got 65 acres, making a biotech center there. Don Born's going to build right next to it, put in his own white room, which is a clean room for doing research, office space, hotel rooms, and also building homes on the outside of that, making it a small little town. He's doing the same thing with the University of Arizona at the Rita Ranch Center. So we're seeing jobs coming in. We're seeing people being creative to bring the jobs in. And because we have the only commercial artery when it comes to the railroad, we have an international airport that wants to grow. And because we have the I-10 and I-19 artery right here, we're in a perfect spot to grow.
Well, it sounds to me, Ken, there may be another place that one might want to sniff out for an extension.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you mentioned, southeast.
Southeast is
for
growing.
Sure. Right, and there's not, I mean, they're building restaurants down there, but it doesn't seem they could use some more.
They can. It's a lot of creativity is not running around. Where I hear something different like you, what you have, I can name 3 or 4 spots all over town that may be a good idea to look at. And then if you decide you want to go that route, I probably can help you find that right person that'll help you make it happen. If you decide you want to think outside the box and franchise, let me know that down the line. I've got some people that work with the franchise companies here and worldwide that you may want to meet down the line too.
Yeah, we'll keep that in mind.
There you go. There's one thing there. What I can see, I think, is a nice Saturday afternoon with a southern band playing and the jugs are flying and the barbecue's wafting through the air.
There you go.
Kids running around with ribs in their hand.
Right.
No.
No ribs.
Yeah.
No
Dogs
kids.
falling right behind them.
No kids.
So much for the family bit, huh? Well, speaking of kids, you've created your business, Ken, into a family affair. How did you get them all involved? Was it easy? Because you know what it's like. You know, some blokes, wives try and bring their kids into businesses with them, and it's tough. And then they end up having arguments later because they never really wanted to be in the thing. But, you know.
Yeah, so I've got 3 children, and 2 of them are involved in the business. My daughter and my son. But, you know, we have a pretty close family. My wife's family is from Arizona. I'm from Kentucky. But for the last 20 or so years, every Sunday we have a bunch of family by the house, and we have Sunday dinner. And so everybody's used to us celebrating with food and fellowshipping with food. And and cooking. You know, everybody always pitched in to cook this, cook that. My daughter would cook desserts, and, you know, my son's watching me outside on the barbecue or the grill, as you know. But so it really wasn't that difficult to get them involved into the business.
Well, that's good. But they're enjoying it now.
They're enjoying it now.
Right.
I mean,
having a good time.
There's some, you know, there's some of those days, but, you know, for the most part, everybody's enjoying it. We all, like I said, food has always been an important part of our fellowship, our, you know, how we get together as a family, not only here, but my family back in Kentucky and Indiana.
Right. Did you actually start cooking young yourself?
Yes. I started cooking at 9 years old. Like I said, my mom worked at night, so a lot of times she would sleep during the day because she worked midnight shifts, and so I did find my way around the kitchen at a young age, and then even in college I cooked, and we always had people by the house, and we just took that with us, my brothers, and so we always same thing. People seem to gather at our houses or whatever. We always have food available, so it's just
must
kind
attract
of
them, mate.
family.
You must have something out there.
Right.
Everybody get to Ken's place. You have a feed at Ken's. What about you, Bob? When did you start cooking? What age?
I think it was probably during college.
Yeah.
I left home when I was about 17 and figured I'd have to defend for myself, so I started then. But difference is I started Julie at 9 or 10. My daughter learned how to cook, so
Is
never an
she a good cook?
excuse. Oh, she's a great cook.
Yeah.
She gets better and better and better every
Well,
time.
isn't it? I don't mean to be sexist or anything, but isn't it usually the women are better cooks than guys?
It becomes a competition in our house, and then usually Dad wins because Dad says so. We don't get the last vote. No, that's not fair. But yeah, we do a couple competitions at home, which really gets us involved with each other. So
Great.
Well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. On the real estate side of things, how are we doing? How's the town doing? What are we doing? More new homes than resales of the other? What do the agents report to you?
the resale, we've got 20. Like I said, right now we had 2,300 homes on the market. Last month we had 2,450 homes on the market, and before that, the month before, we had 2,525. So we're going down
You're
on what
going
we have
down,
on the market.
averaging 150 a month.
That's keeping up. We're actually selling between 1,700 and 1,800 a month, but this is what we see coming back in. So instead of it growing right now, until we start opening up different things for people to move into, such as an apartment complexes, townhomes that can actually go through and be passed. We have townhome community that wants to be built off of Houghton Road and Speedway area.
I know it well. I was at the meeting, the very first meeting.
And over there at Bear Canyon.
Oh, yeah. And
I walked in, looked around, walked out.
And last night there were hundreds. I was in bed very early, though, with unfortunately not well, but my wife went, and it was huge at the school. And
fortunately, they're worried about the roads. And
well, it's not just that, mate. It's the view of the mountains are gone, the trees are chopped down, the lovely mesquite trees. And I think it's the attitude of how it's just been annexed and so on. But anyway, we'll get off that because I don't get into politics, religion, or sports on the show. Just around it on Business RadioX. So what else can we talk about? Is there something you want to share with me that nobody knows coming into Tucson? Got a little exclusive for me?
They were thinking about starting the Ruth Rock Bridge in January. Looks like it may start next month instead. With that idea inside of what's going on the other side of I-10, if you go downtown, they had put the water. If you see, the water's now running.
Right.
What they did is they're pumping it all the way up from Ina Road down to 22nd and running it back over. Well, on the other side, they want to start building out. So they're looking at 285 apartments going in. It's called the Barista, along with 15,000 square foot of shopping space that they're looking to okay. So hopefully this weekend, we'll find out if they okayed it, and if so, they'll start off probably summer of next year.
The barista, huh? I know a funny joke about that one. The lawyer's joke about baristas, the old one. I've got one for you. If I had an apple pie and I turned it over, what would it be?
An apple turnover.
Very good.
Now he's using my stuff.
Okay.
There we go. We used to have fun in the old days. What else is happening?
Road projects are taking off. We've already finished 13. We've got 22 in process that's going on right now. You're going to start seeing them tear up Grant Road from Palo Verde and Grant all the way down to Swan and Grant. It'll be phase 3 and phase 4.
It's going to hold the traffic up a bit, isn't it?
It's going to hold the traffic. Well, it's being done. We've done over 845 projects since 2006.
Well, it's got to be done. I know it's a major artery, but it's got to be done. It'll never get done.
Now, we're finishing some things off earlier, and we're also finishing under budget. For an example, they just did the bridge that went over Houghton Road.
Right, and I was going to ask about Houghton Road, and so They finished the bridge. Well,
finished
what
the
about
bridge.
the rest of Houghton?
Well, here's what's going on. They finished the bridge. As they were doing the bridge, they decided to start early, going from the bridge to I-10. Finish that within an 8-month period.
Oh,
Okay, so now they're going to take a little breather, and they're going to go up towards 22nd and work down to Irvington. After they're done with that, they'll most likely come back and do Vale Road all the way up to Valencia.
well, what about North?
Everything's to be done before 2026. North, going from Tinker Verde down to
Right.
Speedway. Well, they're still in to
Or-
be determined on it, but it looks like it's going to probably be 23 when they start that one.
What about East? I mean, Tanker Verde out to Wentworth and
Tinker Verde and Wentworth is not on the maps for right now what they're
Unbelievable.
doing, but as they start growing out there, they're starting to build out
my
there.
taxes went up too, Ken.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I'm
not
out
fair,
there.
man.
I'm
The
out
road
there
to-
too. I'm like, well,
They are starting the bridge that goes from Houghton Road to Old Spanish Trail, the Valencia Bridge. That's been
All
talking
right.
about for
Okay.
20 years. They're finally getting onto that. Once they get that done and over with, they'll make Old Spanish Trail from Valencia down to Camino Oeste. They'll make that a 4-lane, 2-lane
Okay.
back and forth with all the new Rock and K homes. that we
Oh
just sold,
boy,
so.
business. I tell you what, Ken. Look, what's it like to own and operate a business in Tucson today? For that matter, a food business with so many choices for foodies. With us being the city of gastronomy, I mean, you didn't see it as a gamble when you started.
no, because I always look at it. I mean, I look at it as that this is an abundant world,
Right.
and that we don't compete with any other restaurant. The way we look at it is if we just do what we do,
And the people will come.
And
That's
the people will
right.
come.
Well, you're
so
not
we don't worry
competing,
about it. I mean, there's been a bunch of barbecue restaurants that have opened recently, or moved to the east side, but
Did the city make it easier to open it up or to put it in your name and go from there? Was it a long drawn out process, or was it an easy process to get done?
no, it was an easy process. I mean, the building, some of the things that we did, the sign, and those things were grandfathered in. We just
Right.
didn't make any changes. So actually, it was easy for us to get into that restaurant.
Nice.
And so we haven't had any, issues with the city or, we just have been trucking along,
Well, there's a question. When you say trucking along the roads and so on, how can you produce the wonders that you make now out of a food truck?
So the restaurant has made the food truck business easier because we prepare most of the food in the restaurant.
Well, that's
I
what I was
mean, it's
getting at.
barbecue,
Before that,
so-
you prepared in the truck?
So we have a huge smoker on the back of the truck, and it's a big commercial smoker, a Southern Pride commercial smoker. That's the same kind that you find in Brother John's and a bunch of other places.
Right.
We have the same kind on the back of our food truck. And so we were, as far as our food flavors and everything, I mean, even when we did just have a food truck, we were still producing, fantastic meats and food. But we had a commissary at that time. But so now it just makes it so much easier with our own commercial kitchen and food and to make it, and everything goes a lot smoother, and we can produce more food and have more food on the food truck. But I mean, there's still certain things that we do cook on the truck, and we still smoke on it, and some foods. But for the most part, most of it's done in our restaurant.
How early do you have to start
Well,
in the morning?
so we cook briskets and pork butts. We normally cook them overnight because we're
Okay.
cooking those from anywhere from 12 to 14 hours.
Okay.
And every morning we start at 6 o'clock, and we're putting ribs on the smoker. So
Okay.
we smoke ribs every morning, and pork butts and briskets overnight, and we do chicken and so other things during the day. But for the most part, we smoke, the big meats, the low and slow big meats overnight.
Nice.
Sounds yummy. Yummy. Well, you've got me. As soon as I get well, I'm coming out there. Now, let's talk about how people can find you. I know the www.ken, Ken's Hardwood BBQ. That's bbq.com, Ken's Hardwood BBQ.com. What else have you got? You've got Facebook?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page. We have a...
Ken, okay. Instagram, all that jazz, right?
Yeah, Ken Q.
Now, are you licensed, by the way?
Yes.
You are licensed? Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
people can book. They can have... How many can you book at one time? Not the whole restaurant out, I guess, if you wanted
we can book
to.
the whole restaurant out.
How many do you seat, as a matter of interest?
We seat about 50 people in the restaurant.
Okay, just nice.
Yeah. It's still a small, quaint little restaurant.
But it's getting too big, isn't it? I mean, you're getting too busy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we could ever get too busy, but, I'd be happy with a line out the door.
There you go.
How about your events for your truck?
So our events, we book a lot of corporate events. Like right now, we've got some events for companies around town. They're having a holiday party, so they either book us for catering, and we have some pretty big catering events coming up, and also food events with the food truck. So some pretty, like I said, big companies around town. We do TP, Sturgeon, some other.
Okay. So the word's spreading.
So the word's spreading. Yeah. So we have like I said, we have a lot of corporate business, and people book us for employee appreciation events.
Okay.
And this time there's like I said, this holiday parties. This is the big season, and then we do big events like Tournament of Destruction is coming up. The Monster Truck Show.
Okay.
We do the big events on base, like their 4th of July celebrations and those. And we do the races, Rito Down. So we'll do those when the races come in January. Yeah. So we do a lot of those events with the food truck.
So look out for them, folks. Okay. What was it again? It's Ken's Hardwood Barbecue. And the address again is, where was it again? 5250.
5250 East 22nd Street.
East 22nd, all right.
Crossroads of Craycroft and 22nd.
That's easy to find. Now, Bob, where can people talk to you if they want to get hold of Stewart Title and Trust?
They can find me right here at 3939 East Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can catch me at bob.dytko@stewart.com at any given time.
All righty. And, of course, the Facebook is Team Stewart, I think, 520.
Right.
And the website, too. That's quite informative site.
Yeah, it's stewart.com/Tucson.
It's got a lot on it. Before we close, I want to ask you each a question. Ken, you're front man, so you're first up. Gives him time to think about it. He's lucky.
Okay.
Not a lot of time left, but when you look back at your career, right, with all you've done, is there anything you would have changed, maybe in a decision, that if you had it all over again?
Yeah. When I look back at my career, I am who I am today because of everything I've been through. A lot of things that I thought were so horrible, or at the time maybe I wouldn't get through them or not, but it just made me a better person. Those challenges did. So as I look back and I'm sitting in here on your show today, everything I did in the past helped me get here. And so there's not a thing that I would change. And I love my life. I love, all
right.
I love what we're doing.
And your message of inspiration, your little bit of advice?
Yeah, my message of inspiration is do what makes you happy.
Do what makes you happy.
Right. Do what brings you joy in life. That's simple.
That's simple.
Just follow your feelings, how you feel. If you feel happy, you're good. If you feel troubled or whatever, then you probably need to make a few changes in your life.
What about you, Bob?
Oh, I would have opened up a barbecue place a long time ago. Actually, I wouldn't change anything in my life. I love what I do. I love the people I'm around. I always surround myself with some great people. If I was going to give any kind of something positive in life, it's trust your gut feeling when you have it, take advantage of it, run for it. What do you got to lose?
And what about your message of inspiration? If somebody's listening now and not really sure what the devil they want to do for the rest of their lives,
check into it. There's a thing called out there. It's called the World Wide Web. and to turn around and put some YouTube videos together and sit and watch or listen to a couple TED Talks on what you're looking at and actually think about it, you can think about it all you want. But the minute you pick up the phone and says, I want to make an appointment to meet with somebody, I want to turn around and see how it would be to open up a restaurant, I want to see what it is to open up my own car lot, why not? If that's what you want to, make the advantage to go out and get it, because not enough people are.
That's great.
There you go. My thanks to the 49ers Golf and Country Club for their wonderful sponsorship of this show that goes all over the place, and I thank the people's letters and emails that I do get. I'm glad you enjoy the shows, the variances of the different businesses throughout Tucson. After all, small business makes the world go round. Ken G. Alexander, what's the G for, by the way?
Gregory.
Ken Gregory. He's the owner and CEO and chief cook and bottle washer of Ken's Hardwood Barbecue. You've got to get there. I mean, it sounds amazing, doesn't it? 5250 East 22nd Street. And Bob Dytko, Executive Vice President of Social Media Marketing and General Dog's Body too here. Aren't you, mate? Everybody comes to Bob.
I have a good time with it.
That's the main thing. Thank you. I appreciate your time and giving effort to Tucson Means Business.